All right, welcome. Today we're going to unpack a really simple story, but one with a huge lesson about judgment, understanding, and why the person we think is wrong, well, they might just be seeing a different picture. So let me ask you this. Really think about it. In the middle of an argument, how often do you actually stop and ask yourself this? It's such a simple question, but just pausing to consider it can literally change everything. It's such a common trap to fall into, right? Our brains are kind of wired to see things from our point of view. So naturally, when someone disagrees, that little voice in our head goes, nope, they're wrong. But that one simple assumption can be the biggest roadblock to really understanding anything new. So to really get this, let me tell you a little story about a young artist named Emily. Her experience is the perfect example of why this black and white thinking just doesn't work, and how someone else's point of view isn't necessarily wrong, it's just different. So picture this, Emily, this super cheerful and lively kid, in art class, a total rock star. Her drawings were amazing. But math class? Yeah, that was a different story. Even basic addition could really trip her up. Now, her teacher, Mr. Johnson, he was fantastic. He totally saw her artistic gift and was always encouraging her, building her up where she was strong. You can just imagine how getting notes like this made her feel, right? Pure confidence. Okay, but now let's switch gears and head over to her math class, where things were, well, a little different. Mr. Johnson, trying to help her out, decided to use some fruit from his desk for a simple addition problem. So first, he picks up some strawberries. He asks, all right, Emily, listen, if I give you one strawberry and then another one and then one more, how many will you have? And Emily, she's super focused, right? She counts on her fingers, and then, boom, a big, confident smile. 3, sir, she says. Perfect, we're on a roll. Mr. Johnson is feeling pretty good about this. So he decides to do the exact same thing, but this time with apples. Okay, now for the apples. I give you one, then another, then one more. How many now? And this is where it gets weird. Emily, with that same level of confidence, just blurts out, 4, sir. And you can just picture Mr. Johnson's face. 4? Where did 4 come from? Yeah, you can just feel Mr. Johnson's patience starting to fray, can't you? He's getting frustrated. He's thinking, wait a minute, you got the strawberries right. Why not the apples? The problem is identical. He just can't wrap his head around why she keeps saying 4. And this right here is the turning point of the whole story. What Emily says next reveals the simple, kind of hidden logic behind her answer. It's that aha moment. So in this really soft, quiet voice, you can tell she's a little intimidated by her teacher's tone. Emily just says it. Because I already have one apple in my backpack, sir. And just like that, everything changes. Wow, Mr. Johnson was just completely floored. He suddenly realized the student he thought was just plain wrong wasn't wrong at all. She was working with a totally different set of facts. She had an extra variable that he knew absolutely nothing about. And that right there is the core lesson, isn't it? When someone gives you a different answer, a different opinion, it might not be wrong. It might just be coming from a place, a perspective, or a piece of information that you just don't have yet. This idea is so much bigger than just counting fruit. Look at this. In math, there are tons of ways to get to the number 10, right? 5 plus 5, 6 plus 4, 3 plus 7. The same goes for life's problems. We can get so fixated on our 5 plus 5 solution that we completely dismiss someone else's 6 plus 4 approach. Their path looks different, but the destination, it might be just as valid. So, this all brings us back to the most important point. In our own lives, in our own conversations, we have to start looking for that hidden apple. Before we jump to conclusions, before we decide someone is wrong, we gotta pause and ask, what am I missing here? What part of their story don't I see? Look, at the end of the day, Emily's story isn't really about math, is it? It's this powerful, simple reminder for all of us. It's about leading with curiosity instead of judgment. It's about remembering that understanding someone is way more valuable than just being right. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement and you are 100% certain you're right and they are 100% wrong, just for a second, stop and ask yourself this question. You might be really surprised by what you find.